Remember those magical Saturday mornings? The smell of sugary cereal, the warm glow of the TV, and hours of cartoons? It wasn't just fun. It was a cultural phenomenon that defined childhood for generations. But have you ever wondered how Saturday morning cartoons became a thing? Let's dive into the fascinating story behind one of the most beloved traditions in pop culture history. To understand the magic of Saturday morning cartoons, we need to rewind to the early days of television in the 1940s and 50s. Back then, TV was still a new medium, and programming was mostly targeted at adults. Kids, if they were lucky enough to own a TV at all, had few options to watch. But kids loved television. They loved it so much that advertisers and networks began to notice something. A captive audience that could be marketed to. Early children's programming like Howdy Doody and Kukla, Fran and Ollie laid the groundwork. But the real breakthrough came when networks realized they could dedicate a specific time block. A time when kids were free from school to cater just to them. So why Saturday mornings? Well, it all comes down to timing. For advertisers, Saturday mornings were perfect. Kids were home, parents were often busy with weekend chores, and there was no competition from schools or other activities. It was the perfect storm. By the late 1950s, networks started experimenting with Saturday morning blocks. Shows like Captain Kangaroo and the Mighty Mouse Playhouse gained popularity, proving there was a demand for weekend programming aimed at kids. But this was just the beginning. The 1960s saw the explosion of Saturday morning cartoons as we know them. By this time, television technology had advanced. Color TVs were becoming more common, and animation studios were thriving. Enter Hanna-Barbera. Hanna-Barbera, the legendary animation studio, recognized the opportunity. They pioneered cheap, efficient animation techniques like limited animation, which allowed them to create shows quickly and affordably. Hits like the Flintstones and the Jetsons paved the way for more Saturday morning classics. Meanwhile, advertisers leaned into this growing trend. Breakfast cereal companies were some of the biggest sponsors, creating iconic jingles and mascots that kids would associate with their favorite shows. By the 1970s, Saturday mornings were a full-blown ritual for kids across America. Networks competed fiercely, launching iconic series like Scooby-Doo, The Super Friends, and The Smurfs. What made this era so special was the sheer variety. You had superheroes, slapstick comedy, and even educational shows like Schoolhouse Rock. It wasn't just entertainment. Saturday morning cartoons reflected the culture of the times. Shows like Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids tackled social issues, while G.I. Joe mirrored Cold War tensions. And let's not forget the merchandise. By the 80s, cartoons weren't just TV shows. They were marketing machines. Toys, lunchboxes, pajamas, you name it. If it had your favorite cartoon character on it, you wanted it. But like all good things, the golden age of Saturday morning cartoons couldn't last forever. By the late 80s and early 90s, competition from cable TV, with channels like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, meant kids could watch cartoons anytime they wanted. Then came new regulations. In the early 90s, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, required networks to air educational and informational programming for kids. Many Saturday morning slots were replaced with shows that fulfilled these mandates. And let's not forget the rise of streaming. Today, platforms like Netflix and Disney Plus have made it possible to watch entire seasons of cartoons anytime, anywhere, completely changing how kids consume content. While Saturday morning cartoons may no longer dominate the airwaves, their legacy lives on. They brought families together, created unforgettable characters, and gave us a shared cultural experience. So, next time you're scrolling through your streaming service, take a moment to remember those magical Saturdays. Because even though the cartoons have moved on, the memories and the joy they brought are timeless. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment with your favorite Saturday morning cartoon memories. Until next time, keep the nostalgia alive.